Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back. I am going to be getting into today's video. We are going to be talking about 10 types of childhood traumas. I really wanted to talk about this because I feel like a lot of us, we do go through this. While when we're young, when we're a child, we experience childhood traumas. Some of us may not know how to deal with it. Some of us may not understand what's going on, and why we feel a certain way, and why maybe we could be attracting the same type of relationships that maybe remind us of our childhood or how we were treated as like during our childhood, and maybe we was neglected, maybe we was abandoned or mistreated in some way. And so maybe you kind of want some understanding, and recognizing and some awareness and discovery about what has happened, what you could be experiencing, and just regular educational information, especially about dealing with childhood trauma. So I'm going to go ahead and get into, I'm going to close this door because I don't want my cat to leave the room because she likes to wander and I want her to stay in here. So, but yes, I'm going to get straight into it. So this channel is called Live Narc Free. It's all about helping you guys get free and stay free away from the narcissist, move on to happy and healthier lives. And to just take your power back, be free of a narcissist. And if you haven't already, go ahead and get your Live Narc Free t-shirts. Definitely support mental health awareness. You do get 40% off. I definitely wanted to add that. But anyway, it's not going to be a long intro today. I'm just going to get right into the topic because I think it's definitely important to learn about. And as I said, I had to keep the cat in here because she likes to wander off, especially when I'm doing my lives. Or my videos. All right, so let's get into this, you guys. So let's talk about what is child trauma? What is that? So child trauma refers to a scary, dangerous, violent, or life-threatening event that happens to a child 0 to 18 years of age. This type of event may happen to someone your child knows, or your child is impacted as a result of seeing or hearing about the other person being hurt or injured. When these types of experiences happen, your child may become overwhelmed, upset, and feel helpless. These types of experiences can happen to anyone at any time and at any age. However, not all events have a traumatic impact. Now, me, myself, and I'm definitely going to make a video about this. When I was 17, I did lose my brother, and that was something that was very traumatic for me, very devastating and heartbreaking. And I do feel like I've definitely done a lot of healing, a lot of recovery, a lot of grieving in regards to that. But that's definitely something that has stuck with me for a while. I will tell you this. I do know that we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. So I definitely understand that aspect. But I do know it has affected me deeply. And it has affected my mom and my dad. And those relationships that I do have with my parents, I know will never be the same. Sometimes that does make me feel sad. It does make me feel upset sometimes. But I do know that I have only the power to control my own feelings, control my own emotions and my thoughts. I can't control other people. You know what I mean? So I definitely keep that into consideration. So, but yes, if you're wondering what is child trauma, this is definitely something that could happen. Now, again, not all of us have had this happen as a child, and that's cool. If you haven't had this happen, that's wonderful. You're lucky, right? But if this has happened to you, my heart definitely goes out to you. A lot of empathy in that regards. So, because I know that is something that's difficult to deal with, difficult to understand. So now we want to talk about what is a traumatic event. So a traumatic event is a scary, dangerous, or violent event. An event can be traumatic when we face or witness an immediate threat to ourselves or to a loved one, and it is often followed by a serious injury or harm, right? So this can involve many things, many things, So yeah, this is just something, especially, if you're just wondering like, what is trauma? Like, what is that? A lot of us, we definitely do go through this. Maybe some of us are going through it now. Just know that you're not alone. There's definitely always help around, resources and people that you can reach out to. You can reach out to me. I definitely have been through traumatic experiences and could definitely help you to understand it and cope with it and overcome it for sure. But yes, and like I said, some of this may not even have happened to you. It could have happened to other people around you, but some reason, some way, somehow, this still could have affected you as if it did happen to you, because at the end of the day, we're all connected. So if something traumatic happens to someone else, that could still have that same type of impact on you, because we're all connected. We're all one soul. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. I know that people like to separate people, whether it's by color, religion, gender, sexual orientation, whatever. But it's like at the end of the day, we're all the same, right? We're all dealing with stuff. So, or we may have had these kinds of experiences. So now we're going to get into the types of childhood traumas. Now, I know I've been talking about this subject for a while. I know I've been saying that I wanted to talk about this, and I'm just happy that I'm able to just talk about it now, because I definitely think it's a good topic, especially those of us that are still healing, recovering, and rebuilding ourselves back up, after dealing with, a narcissist or a toxic person, or just any situation that you're going through. So the types of childhood traumas could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical neglect. I hope you guys can see that okay. Yeah. Emotional neglect. Mother was treated violently, or it could be dad was treated violently. Household substance abuse, household mental illness, parental separation or divorce, and incarcerated household. So, physical abuse, whether you could have been abused physically by your parents, that could have definitely had some childhood traumas where you were feeling like you were being attacked by the people that you thought were supposed to be your caretakers. Sexual abuse, where someone took advantage of you sexually, and that traumatized you. And actually, give me 1 second, you guys. Yeah. So you could have felt like that you were taken advantage of. You could have felt like helpless. You could have felt vulnerable in that moment in time. Emotional abuse, which a lot of us, we deal with while living with a narcissist, whether it's narcissistic parents, whether it's a partner. You could also deal with this at work, where you could be getting emotionally abused. Give me 1 second, you guys. I do apologize. Just a moment. Hold on. My apologies, you guys. And if you guys haven't already, make sure that you guys do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Sorry, that's my chair in the background. But yes, so emotional abuse. A lot of us, we could go through this, especially if we have dealt with narcissistic abuse, where you're constantly being put down, belittled, being bullied, being accused of things that you're not doing, getting mistreated, feelings of envy, jealousy, put downs, let downs, and just not supported, and you feel worthless. You could be constant arguments, constant fighting and manipulation and gaslighting. So that's definitely some emotional abuse you could be going through. We also have physical neglect. So neglect by your parents, meaning like they, there was no bonding. My bad, you guys. My cat is walking around. I guess she's seeing something. Yeah. Sorry, you guys. It's my cat is all over the place. I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget this for you guys. There was a few other things that I wanted to add. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the physical neglect. So basically, your parents neglect you emotionally. They're not there for you. They're not getting to know you for who you really are. And you could feel like, like you're by yourself, like you're unimportant, like you don't matter. Other people are before you. You're just doing things to get attention, be seen, be heard, and that kind of thing. So a lot of us, we definitely go through that. Now, and then this kind of goes into the emotional neglect. So your emotions are not being acknowledged. You're not allowed to feel. You're not allowed to be yourself. You're not allowed to release and let things out and talk things out. You're not allowed to express yourself. And the family bonding. You're not you want to bond. It's normal to bond as a family, but some of us we're denied that. And even now we could be denied that. So you're not able to spend quality time with your family and be with them and, build that healthy bond and healthy tie to your family members. Sometimes the ties can be toxic. Sometimes the ties can be negative, where there's a lot of constant fights and arguments going on, and it's just a lot of chaos. And children, they're taking that on, and it's very traumatizing for them. So I think sometimes we don't even realize it because of everything that's going on in the world, what we're bringing on to our children or even onto ourselves and even into the environment. And I actually kind of had to check myself, you guys. I'm not going to lie, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. And so it's just like, we can't really let the world dictate how we're going to feel about ourselves. We have to make sure that we're in control of our vibration. We're in control of how we're feeling, and we're not letting other people impact us in that way and negatively. You know what I mean? So yeah. The next thing is, again, your mother or your father could have been treated violently. So they're like physical abuse, drug abuse going on, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, and some of your mothers and or your fathers could have been beaten, domestic violence, that kind of stuff. So that's traumatizing for a child. Like I said, the household substance, mental illnesses, and then experiencing a divorce like in the family and how that affects the children. Me myself, I know like that did affect me and my brother when my mom and my dad, they divorced. It was devastating. Even I remember I was young, but even still, it definitely had a big impact on us. We almost felt like we were responsible for that, but obviously that wasn't the case. It's like they were going through their own stuff, and sometimes people come together, it works, and then other times it doesn't, And then other times you may have it where, the incarceration happens, and that can mess up the household, where the father is not in the household to help, keep the family together, or it could be a son, a daughter, or whatever the case is. It definitely is traumatizing for children and for the family itself. Now, signs and some symptoms of traumatic stress, you may ask, right? So, and this could be in regards to a child, or this could even be in regards to like right now as an adult. But we're talking about what has caused us to have these issues in our relationships and why we attract narcissist relationships. You know what I mean? And it comes from childhood traumas, right? So it says when your childhood experiences traumatic stress, he or she may act in a uncharacteristic or not typical way that him or her, it's not their usual, right? It says these reactions may continue for days, weeks, or months after the traumatic experience. They also could emerge weeks or months after the event took place. Remember, these are normal reactions to your child having survived or overwhelming life experience, right? So yeah, if after a child has experienced a traumatic situation or event, I would say it's just they react to it. They have different ways of reacting to it. And some of them, they cope with it. They're like, okay, this happened to me, but they still want to maybe get that love from their parents or from the person that did it to them. And it's like they need it. So they're trying to like hide themselves, but they're also still trying to get their emotional needs met. You know what I mean? But yeah, but I definitely think that it's good that we talk about this and recognizing all of this, right? Now, this is actually something that I found. It was a chart, different ways how traumatic childhood traumas can affect preschool children, elementary school children, and middle and high school children, right? So we're just going to kind of go down. So basically, preschool children feel helpless, uncertain, fear of being separated from their parent or caregiver, cry and scream a lot, eat poorly, lose weight, return to bed setting. I'm just looking at my cat. She's acting crazy, you guys. Sorry. Yeah, so return to using baby talk, develop new fears, have nightmares, recreate the trauma through play, and not developing to the next growth stage, having changes in behavior, and asking questions about death. Now, elementary school children, to kind of move this over here, they become anxious and fearful, worry about their own and others' safety, become clingy with a teacher or a parent, fear guilt or shame, tell others about the traumatic event again and again, become upset if they get into small bump or bruise, have a hard time concentrating, experience numbness, have fears that the event will happen again, have difficulty sleeping, show changes in school performance, and become easily startled, right? And middle and high school children feel depressed and alone, discuss traumatic events in detail, develop eating disorders and self-harming behaviors such as cutting themselves, start using and abusing alcohol or drugs, become sexually active. They feel like they're going crazy, feel different from everyone else, take too many risks, have sleep disturbances, don't want to go places that remind them of the event, say that they have no feeling about the event, show changes in behaviors. So this is definitely how, childhood traumas and childhood stress can affect children in each different stages of your life. And you just want to make sure that, if you are a parent, if you're not a parent, it's always good to know, but, you're with your children, you're protecting them as best way as you can. I know that there's a lot going on in the world. So just really take the time to spend quality time with your children, get to know them, love them to the best that you know how, and try not to neglect them. I know that this world, I know I keep saying that, but it's a difficult one. But one of the things that I know and I keep close to me is like, God is in control. This is God's world. He knows what he's doing. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I actually don't have children yet myself. I definitely plan on having children sometime next year. But one of the things that I want to make sure that I do when I do have my children is make sure that I get to know them. I'm there for them. I love on them. I'm loving on myself and I'm being there for them, because I will tell you guys this. I just know just time and time again, being around certain folks and the experiences that I had, and I was around little children, I just noticed that they just wanted to be with their parent. They just wanted that attention from their mommy and their daddy. And unfortunately, they never got it. And so the ways in which they reacted is they lashed out, or they cried, they screamed, or they went to other people for that same attention. But then at the end of the day, they wanted it from their parent. And unfortunately, the parent was just too busy on the phone, too busy working, too busy, caught up in what's going on in the world, or just not just unemotionally available. Maybe they had traumatic experiences that happened to them and they never recovered. They haven't gotten over that. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to make sure that you are in a good space emotionally, so that way you can be there for your children, because children are the future, right? So we got to make sure that we're protecting our future, and we're nurturing our children, because our children they're gonna grow and expand, and they're gonna be the faces of the future, right? We got to make sure that we're gonna survive everything that's happening, right? So yeah. So I just wanted to talk about another way to understand and define trauma. Maybe by remembering the 3 E's of trauma. And this is actually, I did find this through a resource on Google. It says developed by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration. So it goes by SAM, SHA. So it's the 3 E's of trauma. So it's the event, experience, and the effect of the actual traumatic experience, right? Or the trauma. So I know that is a little hard to see, the event. I'm going to actually read it out for you guys. So it's event. So it's refers to the threat or actual experience of harm which may occur once or multiple times to your child. Some events may in the event or the event refers to the threat or actual experience of harm which may occur or multiple times to your child. Some events may include abuse, neglect, death of a loved one, or bullying. Refers to the threat or actual experience of harm which may occur once or multiple times to your child. Some events may include, I think I put this here already. Yeah, neglect, abuse, death of a loved one. Yeah, or bullying as well. So yeah, I think I put that on there double. But you guys kind of get the drift. So yeah, basically, it's just like the event that has happened that has caused your child, to have that kind of reaction to it, right? So they've been traumatized by something, whether it was bullying, it was a death of a loved one, neglect, that kind of thing, right? Many ways that we can get traumatized. Now the experience, right? And you guys can see that a little better. Have to just make sure next time that's a little bit darker so you guys can see that. But anyway, the experience refers to your child's unique perception of the event described above. Remember, an event that is scary or overwhelming to one child may not be for another child. In this domain, you are looking to understand your child's potential experience or perception of the event. Some feelings that your child might experience include shame, isolation, betrayal, and fear, right? So yeah, when they have these experiences, these are the emotions that they are experiencing. So you just want to be mindful of that and just be sensitive to your children, And as I said, we're caught up in this world. We're dealing with this world. We're trying to cope in it. We're trying to live in it. And you don't want to neglect your children. You don't want to neglect your family. They mean the most, right? Now we have effect. So the effect refers to the impact, the event, and the experience that it had upon your child. The impact can be short-term or long-term, and it may come on immediately or show up after. The effect and the experience of the event might result in new or increased problems in social or family relationships, changes in sleep, eating, or mood, and difficulties thinking, concentrating, and or expressing emotion. So this is the effect of what this event and this experience has had on your child, right? So like me, for instance, like the event and there have been several events, like dealing with a loss of a loved one, dealing with bullying growing up, dealing with racism, dealing with narcissists, dealing with just the world itself. There's many things, but just to choose the one with my brother is just that it was very devastating, and it was shocking. It was scary. I felt a lot of fear, and I didn't know what to do. But luckily I did have a caretaker at the time, but unfortunately that caretaker did not have my back as I thought they were supposed to, and that was very unfortunate, but I was able to turn that around and use it to help other people, right? But other people are not able to do that, right? So you just want to be mindful of that. And understand the things that's going on in the household, the impact that it can have on your child, and just be sensitive to that, be understanding, um yeah. And sometimes it may not show up right away, the changes in your child, but it's going to come, um sooner or later, especially if it had an impact on them. But yeah, these are definitely the effects of these events, right? So I hope that this is really helpful for you guys. So yeah, that's it, you guys. I do apologize for the other slide. It was a little difficult to read it, but hopefully you guys got the gist. But like I said, I'll adjust it next time. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you really enjoy this. I hope that you got a lot from this. I really would love to know what was your biggest takeaway and what you learned. Please leave your feedback and how this has helped you. I do want to link a video below. I know I did this video a long while ago. I do believe it was about, I think I was talking about like childhood traumas or something like that. Let me just double check before I let you guys go. This is at 26 minutes. Let me see. Let me look on my page real quick. Okay, so let's see here. Because I want to link this below for you all, so that way you can watch this video. So, okay, 1 second, you guys. Keep getting these messages on my phone. Okay, so I think it's Live Narc Free Childhood Trauma. Yeah, I think it's an old. Okay, so I believe there's like a updated version and there's another version. So I'm going to link. Yeah, okay, here it is. It's Narcissist, Childhood Trauma, and Dysfunctional Relationships. So I'm going to link that video below so you guys can kind of like learn more. There's going to be one video, and then I have another video called how to heal PTSD and childhood traumas as an empath. So I want you guys to check those videos out if you found that this video was helpful and you kind of want to learn more. And also, you guys could download my free audio course. It's called Letting Go of the Narcissist. It's just an audio you can listen to. If you are needing help with learning how to let go of a narcissist, definitely listen to it for inspiration. But yeah, that's all I have. Like I said, I hope that this was helpful. Now, if you like my content and you want to support mental health awareness, please feel free to donate to my channel. It's always appreciated. You can donate it at livenarcfree9@gmail.com, or you can visit my Cashapp, which would be $Coach Joy 510. All right, you guys, I love you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.